Hello, everyone. Today we are starting Unit 7, Similarity of Triangles or Similar Triangles. And we're going to start by reviewing what a ratio is. So, a ratio and proportion. A ratio compares two quantities. It can be written as the word A to B, or A colon B, or as a fraction, A over B, when B is not equal to 0. 1 ounce of cheddar cheese contains 9 grams of fat. So 6 grams of fat are saturated fats. Find the ratio of the standard fats, or the saturated fats, sorry, to the total fats. So that would be 6 to 9, or 6 colon 9, or 6 to 9. A proportion is a statement that two ratios are equal. So A over B equals C over D. And the ratio, so an example, the ratio of the measures of two sides of a triangle are in ratio 3 to 4 to 6, and its perimeter is 104 feet. Find the measure of each side of the triangle. So here we're using an extended ratio where it's 3 to 4 to 6. So there I'm going to say 3x plus 4x plus 6x equals 104. And then I'm going to solve that by adding those up, and that's 13x equals 104. Divide both sides by 13, and x equals 8. So therefore the measure of each side is 24, 32, and 48. An extended proportion is where I have more than one fraction and they're all equal. So solving proportions, this is where we cross multiply. So here we do 35 times 2 equals 5 times n. So 70 equals 5n. Divide by 5, and 14 equals n. Here we're going to cross multiply again. So it's 2 times the quantity x plus 1 equals 3x. You need to distribute. So that's 2x plus 2 equals 3x. Subtract 2x, and x equals 2. So I want you to pause, and I want you to do these next 3 examples. Come back and check your answers. So actually, I came back after just doing the first example, because when I cross multiply, I got x squared plus x equals 6. This is a quadratic. So remember, to solve a quadratic, I need to set it equal to 0. So I subtracted 6 from both sides. I then factored x squared plus x minus 6 into x plus 3 and x minus 2. Since the product equals 0, I set each factor equal to 0, so x minus 2 equals 0, which gives me x equals 2. X plus 3 equals 0, which gives me x equals negative 3. So there are 2 answers to this problem, 2 and negative 3. So pause again and try 4 and 5. Okay, so on number 4, when I cross multiply, I get x plus 6 times x minus 1, because this x plus 6 here I pretend over 1. It is over 1. That multiplies to be x squared minus 36. Since I only have an x squared and there is no x, I added 36 to both sides, took square root of both sides, which gave me x equals plus or minus 7. You could have still subtracted the 13 and factored. 5, when I cross multiply, I get 12x equals 2x squared. It's a quadratic with more than one x, so I subtracted 12x. I factored, there's a common factor 2x, so that means each factor equals 0, so x equals 0, and x minus 6 equals 0, so x equals 6. Now remember, not everything can be factored. So we've learned 2 ways in algebra, either quadratic formula or the completing the square. When we have standard form of a quadratic equation, it's ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So that means the quadratic formula equals x equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. You need to know that. So when I do number 1, when I cross multiply, I get x squared minus 2x equals 5x plus 30. It's quadratic, so I'm going to make it equal 0. So that's x squared minus 7x minus 30 equals 0. And that is not factorable. There are no, actually that is factorable. So there are factors of negative 30 that add to be negative 7. That would be negative 10 and positive 3. So that's x minus 10, x plus 3 equals 0. So then x minus 10 equals 0, and x plus 3 equals 0, giving me x equals 10, and x equals negative 3. Number 2, I'm going to cross multiply, so I get 3x plus 15 equals x plus 1 times x plus 3. There I need to double distribute, so that's x squared plus 3x plus x plus 3 equals 3x plus 15. It's quadratic, so it needs to equal 0. So x squared plus x minus 12. And here again, I want numbers that multiply to be negative 12 that add to be 4. And that would be 4 and negative 3. So it's x plus 4, x minus 3. So x plus 4 equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0. So x equals negative 4, x equals 3. So if you have any questions, please ask them.